All right, we are going to do multiplying decimals today. This is going to be pretty similar to our multiplying whole numbers. We're just going to do one little step at the end, and that'll take care of the decimal for us. So again, we'll do 3 problems, and we'll kind of crawl, walk, and then run, and then you can do some independent practice and see if you're understanding it or not. And if you need more help, just reach out and we'll get you whatever support you may need. So problem number 1, we're going to start with 2-digit by 2-digit. So let's do 3.5 times 2.5, or 3 5/10 times 2 5/10. Now, when we're multiplying decimals, we are going to ignore the decimals until the very end. And I'll explain a little bit more of that as we go through. So we're going to pretend that this is just 35 times 25 right now. We aren't going to remember those decimals until the very, very end in our very last step. Up until that point, everything else is going to be exactly the same as multiplying whole numbers. Okay? So let's take a look at this problem. We're going to take care of this 5 here first. So 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Okay? I have nothing left to use that 5 with, so I'm going to cross it out so I don't get confused. And then I'm going to move to my next row, okay, or my next number. My next number is the 2, but really it is a 20, so we're going to use that 0 as a placeholder. Drop the bomb, lay the egg, whatever you want to call it. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And our next step, there's nothing left to do with the 2, so now we're going to add. Okay, 5, 7, 8, 875. Now, I said there's one last step we're going to do at the very end to bring the decimal back into play. Now, a lot of people like to say, well, there's the decimal. They're both already lined up like with addition, so it must go here. Wrong. We have to count our jumps, our place value jumps. So starting at our far right, it takes one jump to get from the edge of my number to the decimal. So that's one jump. That's 2 jumps, so a total of 2 jumps. Okay, so in our answer, we're going to do 1, 2 jumps, and we're going to land it right there. So 8 75/100. Okay, 8 75/100. Now, traditional, we'll go into our area model. Setting it up exactly the same as we did with whole numbers, because again, we can think of them as whole numbers until the very end. All right, we're going to, like I said, use whole numbers. At the very end, we'll bring the decimal back into play, but we understand in reality that this is not 35, it's 3 5/10. Okay? But for the purpose of setting it up and keeping things as similar as possible through all this, we're going to go with thinking of it as a 35. So 30 plus 5. Really, you would do a 3 plus 5/10 or 0.5. But again, we're going to try and keep it as simple and seamless as possible for all of our brains. And then we have 25. So 20 plus 5. Again, in reality, we know this is 2 5/10, not 25, but we are going to use those powers of 10 and help us out a little bit. And we'll bring the decimal back in at the end. All right, let's get going. Just like normal. 20 times 30. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 zeros in my question. 2 zeros in my answer. 20 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 0 in my question, 1 0 in my answer. Now, if you're not understanding where I'm getting these 20 and the 5 from, the 20 and the 30 from, again, this is everything on this line here is a 20. So that's 20, that's 20, that's 20. Everything on this line is a 5. That's 5, that's 5, that's 5. Okay, and I go over a little bit more of that in more detail in the multiplying whole numbers video. All right, we're done with the 20s row. Let's go to the 5s row. This one is 5 times 30. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 0 in a question, 1 0 in an answer. Again, that's all because of powers of 10. And then our last box here, this is 5 times 5, which is 25. All right, and next we are going to add up all of our products. So we have 600, 100, 150, and 25. 5, 7, 8. Now, if we were doing whole numbers, we would be done, but we are working with decimals. Remember, we did 1, 2 jumps in our original problem, so we're going to do 1, 2 jumps in our answer, and we get to that 8 7/75. Okay? Hopefully that's not too confusing or too bad for you. Again, it's very similar to our multiplying whole numbers. So if you're doing really well with that, there's a good chance you're doing pretty well with this right now. The only thing that's different is this final movement of the decimal at the end. Okay? Let's try a 3-digit times a 2-digit. So problem B. We're going to do 3 72/100 times 45/100. So 3.72 times 0.45. Okay. Let's get going with, and again, we're going to ignore the decimal till the very end. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. 15, 16, 17, 18. There's nothing less for me to do with those, so cross out what I've used so I don't get confused. And then I'm going to move to my next number. The next number I have to work with is the 4, but really that's a 40, so we're going to use our placeholder. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 3 is 12, 13, 14. And then I'm going to add 0, 14, 17, 6, and 1. And then again, my very last step is to go through and count the number of decimal jumps I'm going to need in my answer. So 1, 2 to get the decimal, 1, 2 to get the decimal, so 2 jumps plus 2 jumps is a total of 4 jumps. So here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 674 thousandths. Okay, let's give our area model a try. All right. Again, we're going to pretend that these are whole numbers until the very end. So 372, 372, 45, 45. And then we multiply. This is going to be my 40 row. So 40 times 300. 4 times 3 is 12. 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 zeros, so 12,000. 40 times 70. 4 times 7 is 28. 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros, 2,800. 40 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 1, 0, 1, 0, 80. Okay. Now we're done with that 40 row. We're going to move on to the 5 row. And again, if it's helpful to you to write the 40 and the 5 over here too, and the 372 down here, also go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is 5 times 300. 5 times 3 is 15. 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros. So 1,500. 5 times 70. 5 times 7 is 35. 1, 0, 1, 0. 350. And then our last spot here, 5 times 2, which is 10. Okay, and our next step is to add everything together. I need something to hold that down so it doesn't keep lifting up. There. All right, we have 12,000, 2,800, 1,500, 350, 80, and 10. Then we add it all up. 0, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 2, 4, 6, and 1. Oop, I should not have put a comma there, should I? We aren't doing whole numbers, we're doing decimals. So let's figure out where our decimal goes. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. So I'm gonna go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. 1 and 674 thousandths. All right, let's take a look at the last one. So we walked, or we crawled, we walked, now let's run. Let's go with the big guys. Let's see. All right, here we go. You ready? 3 and 71 hundredths, or 3.71. And then 2 and 50. Let's do 25 and 6/10. So the reason I kind of changed that one up is I wanted the decimals to be in different spots. In the first two examples, they were lined up like we would be doing addition of and subtraction of fractions. I wanted to show you that it does not need to be lined up. Your digits should be lined up, but your decimals do not need to be lined up. So let's give this one a solve. Green, pink, and orange. All right, here we go. Again, multiplying as normal, ignoring all the decimals. So 6, 42, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I've used the 6, I've used the 4, cross out what I've used so I don't get confused. And I'm going to go to the 5. Well, that 5 is really a 50, so I'm going to give it a placeholder. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 3 is 15. 16, 17, 18. Okay, cross out what I've used so I don't get confused. And my last row here is with that 2, but that 2 is really a 200. So I have 2 placeholders, 200. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. My last step here, got dark. Last step here is to add. So 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 7, 8, 9. Okay, is that our last step? Hopefully you're shouting no, because we have to go back and take care of these decimals, counting our jumps. 1, 2, 1, so how many total jumps? 1, 2, 3 jumps. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 jumps. 94 and 976 thousandths. Okay. And we'll do our monster area model. 6. All right, let's tackle this. Take it nice and slow. So 371. 371. 256. 256. Again, we're kind of cheating and ignoring the decimals for right now. We're going to come back and bring that place value part in at the end. All right, here we go. This is our 200 row. So 200 is going to be in all three of these boxes. So 200 times 300. 2 times 3 is 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So that's 60,000. Okay. Then we go to this box, and again, this line's 200 times 70. 2 times 7 is 14. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 14,000. Our last 200 box is 200 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1, 2 zeros. 1, 2 zeros. 200. 200 row, done. Let's go to our 50 row. So again, 50 is going to show up in all of these boxes. 50 times 300. Because 300 is this whole column, right? There's going to be 300s in all three of these boxes. So 5 times 3 is 15. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 15,000. Middle box. 50 times 70. 5 times 7 is 35. 1, 2 zeros. 3,500. Last of our 50 boxes. 50 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 1, 0, 1, 0. All right, last column, or last row, excuse me. All right, this is our 6s row. So 6 times 300. 6 times 3 is 18. 1, 2 zeros. 6 times 70. 42. 1, 0, 1, 0. And last but not least, our very last little box here, 6 times 1, which is 6, no zeros. Now, we got the big chore of adding these all up, and this is where you want to make sure you're careful on your adding. So we have 60,000. We have 15,000. 14,000. 3,500, 1,800, 420, 200, 50, and 6. So again, I'm going to count, make sure I have 9 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now it's worth adding. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6. 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, and 5 is 7. 5. Let's do it the right way. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, my numbers are matching up. That's a good sign. Now my very last step, hopefully you're not saying you're done, is we have to count those jumps. Again, we had 1, 2, 3 jumps. 1, 2, 3 jumps. 94 and 976 thousandths. All right, hopefully you're feeling pretty good with that. Again, if you are struggling with the multiplying whole numbers, reach out to me and I'll give you some practice stuff with that and try and get you back on track with that. Because if you're struggling with that, this is obviously going to be also a struggle because it's essentially the same thing, just that jumping of the decimal at the very end. If you are doing well with the multiplying of whole numbers, but for whatever reason you're struggling on this, my guess is you're overthinking the decimal jump part. But also reach out and I'll see if I can show you another way that would hopefully clear things up. All right, hopefully that helped. Let us know. Have a good one.